My name is Sorin DUCARU. I'm the chair of the scientific board of the New Strategy Center, and it's my distinct pleasure and honor to moderate today stellar panel, and I would warmly invite the distinguished panelists on the stage. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Moldova, His Excellency Mihai, welcome. Her Excellency Ana Tinca, State Secretary, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Romania, welcome. And Georg GEORGIEV, Senior Fellow, Atlantic Council, and the one who manages the Transatlantic security initiatives, good old friend of the Black Sea. The fourth panelist will join us with a video message. His Excellency Georg GEORGIEV, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bulgaria. Just to give you a sense of how we will conduct this panel, there will be introductory statements by distinguished panelists, and we will start with the message from the Bulgarian Foreign Minister. After which I will open it for a debate. I will have some questions of my own, but I will be very open to take questions from the floor. The thematic of this panel, namely committing for a free and open seas for the eastern flank of NATO and the EU. I think it's extremely topical. It is theme that is linked to the very essence of this forum for the Black Sea and Balkans, and I think this region is at the heart of the geostrategic focus as we speak. With this, let me ask our technical people if we can run the message from the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bulgaria.
Dear colleague, Mr. Scowcroft, distinguished audience. At the outset, allow me to extend my gratitude to be invited to speak at this important forum discussing key issues of the Black Sea security. I fully agree that free and open seas at the eastern flank of NATO and the EU should be a priority topic fundamental for the European security. It is a vital issue for Bulgaria. The security in the Black Sea region is of global geopolitical scale and significance with European and regional repercussions. Part of it has tragically fallen into the conflict zone of the Russian unprovoked and unjustifiable full-scale military aggression against Ukraine. I believe we all agree that the invasion has spread out the biggest security shockwaves of our times. The consequences of the military aggression leave no room for hesitance and inaction. They demand active solidarity and support among us, allies and partners. We need to strengthen our connectivity, including our free and open Black Sea ports and routes, but also to develop and support free and open land corridors. We have to guarantee in all times the unrestricted flow of goods, but also to establish secure military mobility capabilities to strengthen allies and partners' resilience. The Black Sea regional transport corridors are an essential part of the European free and open routes network necessary to deter and defend against the unprecedented challenges of our time. Freedom of navigation in the Black Sea, safe shipping and food supply chains have been severely affected by the Russian war against Ukraine. Drifting mines have caused disruptions in the free shipping which demanded our reaction. Bulgaria, Romania and Turkey initiated the Mine Countermeasures Black Sea Task Group, which is an excellent example of a mutual commitment among allied Black Sea countries to address security challenges in the region. Under Bulgarian command now, we are convinced that the task group will contribute to boost the security and safety of the Black Sea shipping. It is important to recall that the strategic importance of the Black Sea was recognized and found its place in the NATO strategic concept adopted in 2022. This should be further operationalized through greater alliance engagement and presence in the Black Sea, which we see as a key for fostering the deterrence posture and ensuring sustainable prevention of conflicts. In this vein, closer coordination and cooperation between NATO and the European Union, the natural partners in the Black Sea region, is crucial. Investing in the security of the Black Sea region is an investment in the security of the Euro-Atlantic area. Bulgaria welcomes the efforts of the European Commission and EAS to elaborate a new EU strategy approach towards the Black Sea. It has been initiated by Bulgaria and Romania and supported by other like-minded partners in the European Union. We believe that connectivity, stability and resilience of all countries in the region will foster cooperation, economic prosperity and development. These priorities are the backbone of our vision for the ever more active engagement of the EU in the region. A priority project for the regional security, including both NATO and the European Union, military mobility, is the Pan-European Corridor 8, connecting the Adriatic Sea from Italy through Albania, the Republic of North Macedonia to Bulgaria at the Black Sea. This project is also vital for the economic growth of the wider region, interlinking Europe with Central Asia. I would also like to extend my appreciation for the excellent relations and good neighborliness, friendship and partnership we enjoy between Bulgaria and Romania. In line with our strategic partnership, we have to continue our efforts on the implementation of important infrastructural projects such as the construction of new bridge over Danube linking Ruse and Giurgiu, the Fast Danube 2 project and the need to speed up the opening of the Ruse-Giurgiu ferry line. In addition, the construction of other projects are of strategic importance, and among them the sea-to-sea between Bulgaria and Greece and the trilateral multimodal corridor north-south linking Bulgaria with Greece and Romania. The Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, Middle Corridor, and the Green Energy Corridor, as well as the projects with the framework in the Global Gateway, Team Europe should be important steps in ensuring the free and open connectivity in the Black Sea region. The Russian war of aggression has affected global food security as well. The Ukraine Solidarity Alliance and the Black Sea Grain Initiative have been vital for keeping Ukraine export capacity. Bulgaria, Romania and Turkey opened their ports and territorial waters for grain export shipments. After Russia withdrew from the Grain Initiative in 2023, a new maritime corridor was established. Again, our collective efforts as allies in the EU and NATO proved significant in keeping the regional security and, in a broader aspect, the global food security intact. I will conclude my intervention by emphasizing that first and foremost, there is a need of comprehensive, just and lasting peace in Ukraine based on the principles of international law, respect for its national sovereignty and territorial integrity. There is a need for a strong NATO and new solidarity and a comprehensive approach based on the fundamental principles of multilateralism and the rules-based international law within the UN Charter. The core EU values upholding the rule of law, democracy, human rights, and effective regional and global cooperation remain the only viable solution to current challenges. Bulgaria stands ready to contribute to the peace negotiation process together with our allies and partners while acknowledging Ukraine's sovereign right to decide its own future, security measures, and its path to development and prosperity.
Well, I would like to convey through our Bulgarian friends here at the Embassy in Bucharest my thanks for the message, quite substantive message sent by the Minister Georgiev, Bulgarian Foreign Minister. I'm not going to summarize the speech, but there were some really key themes that I think we can come back during our dialogue. With this, I would kindly invite for the introductory statement Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Mihai Popșoi, close friends of the New Strategy Center, close friend of Romania, the region of Europe, the Transatlantic community, someone who grew up in his career with these themes. Mr. Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Indeed, it's becoming a nice tradition to participate in the Black Sea and Balkan Security Forum, and I very much look forward to the next edition, with the only caveat being that we have elections in September. So we need to address that first before we can plan further. But I would like to commend Romania for the outcome of the presidential elections. For the Republic of Moldova, it's very important for Romania to be firmly anchored in the Euro-Atlantic space, to be a pillar of stability in the region, and to continue to be the trusted and reliable partner for the Republic of Moldova that it has been always. Now, the Republic of Moldova may not be the great maritime power that we would like to be, but nonetheless, we have access to the Black Sea through the Danube. We have a port on the estuary of the Prut River where it falls into the Danube. So for us, it is incredibly important to see international law prevailing and to have freedom of navigation and to have the liberty to export and import, as a lot of our trade goes through the Black Sea. But my predecessor, my friend, already mentioned the importance of the grain exports from Ukraine through the Black Sea. And it could be abstract for some people, but last year, I remember, actually 2 years ago, at the Antalya Diplomatic Forum, not to promote any other platforms here, but I had the honor of engaging with the president of Mali, and it was very clear the importance and the crucial role that the grains from Ukraine play for sub-Saharan Africa. And you could see that the assistance that also the Republic of Moldova provided when the Black Sea was blocked, so that through the territory of the Republic of Moldova, the all-important grains from Ukraine could reach the destinations in Africa and elsewhere. We are continuously supporting and are firm believers that the Black Sea should remain open, and we'd like to commend the efforts of Ukraine to actually free the Black Sea, or a large degree, actually pushing Russian assets from the territory of Crimea into the constitutional territory of the Russian Federation. The effectiveness of Ukrainian defense on the Black Sea is undeniable, starting from the sinking of the flagship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Ukraine has proven remarkably effective, and even though some, even well-meaning friends, were not giving Ukraine more than 3 days, well, it's over 3 years now that Ukraine is resisting, and Ukraine's courage and determination and sacrifice is also keeping the Republic of Moldova safe. So the Republic of Moldova in return will stand by Ukraine, and we'll do our utmost to contribute to international rule of law regimes that are working to not allow aggressors to enjoy the sense of impunity that they hope to enjoy. And we'll stand by international actions to provide freedom of navigation, but also to make sure that we contribute to international law having the means to bring the perpetrators to account. Now, the Republic of Moldova, with all the struggle and all the challenges resulting from the Russian aggression against Ukraine, we have not only muddled through in the past few years, but we have actually reached meaningful progress. The Republic of Moldova now is proud to be a full-fledged candidate country to the European Union. We are making significant progress in navigating these difficult waters of EU accession, but we have the incredible generosity of our partners in the European Union, first and foremost our brothers in Romania, helping us with the technical expertise so that we can advance in due time, fast, but not to the detriment of the quality of reforms, as our friends in Brussels keep reminding us, and we agree, Because at the end of the day, the reforms that we are doing in the Republic of Moldova are geared towards improving the quality of life of our citizens. And if they also help us join the European Union, it's a wonderful bonus. And we would like to thank all of our partners in the European Union for helping us in this process, especially that we no longer have any time to lose, having lost 3 decades. Now we are happy to have finally embarked on this path, and we will not be deterred. And in light of the EU referendum and the presidential elections last year, the unity and the resilience of the Moldovan society is manifest. But this is also a testament to the incredible solidarity and support from the international community. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. And I think you not only came with some concrete highlights, but I also want to appreciate the kind of power of the soul that you put also in your message, and I think that is inspired from the atmosphere back home in the Republic of Moldova. I would now like to pass the floor to Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Anna Tinka. I should highlight that Anna is one of the distinguished, very accomplished diplomats, one of my favorites, I would say. I would call it a rock star of diplomacy. We had the chance to work together at NATO, and I'm glad that we were able to work together also with 2 distinguished ambassadors of Turkey that are here today, Ambassador Ceylan and Ambassador Tajan Ildem. So, because it's about the Black Sea, Anna has a strategic mind and also capacity to work with colleagues in a team. Has an important responsibility of following the transatlantic and security agenda. And with this, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ambassador DUCARU, for your very kind words. Let me say, first of all, that Minister HUREZEANU is really sorry that he was not able to be together with you today, with us. He asked me to convey his appreciation and his gratitude to the organizers, to New Strategy Center. As already mentioned here, this event has become a well-established tradition and also a very valuable platform for in-depth discussion on all important security matters. And the topic of our panel makes no exception, because the free seas are a topic of the highest importance for my country, for the region, and beyond. If we speak about NATO and the European Union, the Black Sea lies at the very heart of EU's eastern neighborhood and is also one of the most strategically sensitive areas of the NATO's eastern flank. And as it has been mentioned here as we speak, the Russians' ongoing aggression against Ukraine has reshaped the security landscape with far-reaching implication for Europe and the wider world. Needless to say that in this context, the Black Sea strategic importance has not only been reaffirmed, it has become central, and it is now abundantly clear that a free and secure Black Sea is not merely a regional concern, but vital to Europe's resilience and also to global stability. The region is important to international trade, to European energy security, and to global food security. And Minister Popșoi just mentioned this. Of course, Ukraine is a major grain supplier, and securing maritime routes ensure that these critical exports reach international markets, including vulnerable regions that depend on them. A secure sea is, of course, crucial for Ukraine's recovery and reconstructions, and together with our allies, with the EU members, with our regional partners, we have developed alternative corridors in Romania with Constanța port, but also using the Danube to make sure that Ukraine maintain economic access despite the Russian blockades. But I would like to say that while the Black Sea is, of course, key to Ukraine's reconstruction, Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, including, of course, its access to the Black Sea, are equally fundamental for the future of our region. Today, again, due to Russia's action, we face significant challenges ranging from the disruption of maritime trade. We've seen Russia targeting civilian shipping, weaponizing food exports, thus jeopardizing global supply chains. We also see escalating hybrid threats, cyber attack, electronic warfare tactics like GPS jamming, and also disinformation and other campaigns aiming at destabilizing the security environment. I strongly believe that in order to be able to address all these challenges in an efficient manner, we need a collective effort, and we need to continue to act at all levels, national level, of course, regionally, but also collectively within NATO and the European Union. And all our efforts, I think, should start from the acknowledgement of the fact that Black Sea is not a peripheral issue. It is a frontline for European and global security. We want, therefore, to see NATO and the EU deepening their strategic engagement in the region. This is something that Romania has advocated for a long time, namely a NATO stronger presence and a more active EU role in the Black Sea. And while, of course, significant progress has been made, I think that taking into account that the challenges that we are facing are long-term, we need sustained and intensified efforts. For NATO, of course, NATO should continue to refine and adapt its deterrence posture, including through surveillance, intelligence sharing, and naval deployments when the conditions allow. As for the EU, we in Romania think that it is high time for the European Union to advance a comprehensive EU strategy for the Black Sea, based on two main pillars. One is security in the broadest sense, covering freedom of navigation, maritime safety, countering hybrid, critical infrastructure protection, and so on, but also connectivity, including by strengthening integration with Eastern like-minded partners, and now I'm thinking particularly, of course, of Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova. We need to ensure secure maritime routes, but also to build deeper economic ties between our partners and the European Union. This being said, of course, regional strong partnerships remain key. The efforts of us, Turkey and Bulgaria, were mentioned. Of course, Turkey is a key regional player and has a pivotal role in maintaining security and stability here. We in Romania see the current moment also as an opportunity to strengthen not only the regional cooperation with Turkey, but also to revitalize EU-Turkey relations in a pragmatic and future-oriented manner. To conclude, again, I would say that to achieve our goals, the response must be collective. And to get back now to the title of our panel, I think it's important to say that security threats in the Black Sea are, of course, not isolated. I mean, I'm sure you were not surprised that a Romanian diplomat would speak so much about the Black Sea in a panel with this title. But we are very much aware of the fact that the stability of this region is directly linked to the security of other crucial maritime areas on the NATO eastern flank, the Adriatic, the Baltic, and so on. The disruptive tactics that we see here extend to other strategic waterways, and they pose widespread challenges all along the eastern flank. Deceptive maneuvers are now routine, forming part of this broader strategy of Russia to disrupt, coerce, and intimidate. And my final point would be that if instability is left unchecked in one region, it will spread to the other. That's why I think it's extremely important to have a coherent, coordinated approach along the entire NATO and EU eastern flank with interconnected security efforts, reinforcing deterrence and strengthening resilience in this entire region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, State Secretary Tinka. I would now like to pass the floor to Ian BRZEZINSKI. Ian is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. He is actually the force behind the Transatlantic Security Initiative, former Assistant Secretary of Defense, and I would say high-level, part of the high-level personnel at the U.S. Senate. He was among the United States team that I think designed the policy of NATO enlargement and then supported it and supported the transatlantic relationship in difficult times like the current times where we are tested. And someone that knows the Black Sea region and supports the Black Sea security and its relevance for the broader transatlantic community. Ian, with this, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sorin. I got to say, it's a real privilege and a joy to be on the floor with somebody who's a good friend and who also is among the great ambassadors who worked the halls of Washington so effectively. And it's a privilege to be on the floor with the ministers from Romania, Bulgaria, and Moldova. You know, for too long, the significance of the Black Sea has been underappreciated across the transatlantic community. I don't need to tell this group, and we've heard it from my colleagues here, how important, why this region, why the Black Sea is such an important waterway and maritime region. It's 300 million people, generates some $3 trillion a year in GDP. It's an intersection point between Europe, the Middle East, Eurasia. Black Sea nations and this waterway are critical to the global food supply. And we had panels over the last 2 days that underscored the immense energy potential that has yet to be fully tapped in this region. And as a security guy, as a guy who's focused on NATO for my lifetime, I never forget there are now 3 key NATO allies on these shores, Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey, and 3 key NATO partners, Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova. And when you look, from an American perspective, we shouldn't forget that in Turkey and Romania is the architecture for missile defense, NATO's missile defense structure, that defends not just Europe, but also the United States. And as a former DASD who had a small role in U.S. posture, U.S. policy towards Afghanistan and U.S. operations there, I do remember when Turkey, Georgia, Ukraine, Romania, and Bulgaria at one time accounted for 1/3 of the troops that NATO had under its command in Afghanistan as part of the Resolute Support Mission. So this is a region of truly committed NATO allies. For 2 decades, the Black Sea region has been the soft underbelly of European security. It has been the zone of Europe's most intense confrontation and violent conflict. It is where the collision between autocracy and democracy has been most kinetic. Russia's invasion of Ukraine twice, Russia's occupation of Moldovan territory, Russia's invasion of Georgia. And it's just not traditional military aggression that's at play here. Putin's actions against the region include a comprehensive, sustained campaign of assassination, information operations, election interference, sabotage, cyber attacks, economic and energy pressure. So what needs to be done to make and sustain the Black Sea as a free and open ocean, a free and open sea? I think a strategy is going to have to rest on 2 key assumptions. One, that whenever we get a ceasefire in the Russia invasion of Ukraine, that's not going to temper Putin's hegemonic ambitions for this region. That's going to be a long-term reality we have to address. And then second, every strategy, or an effective strategy, is going to be, as the minister pointed out, it's going to have to be comprehensive. It's going to have a military dimension. As the Bulgarian minister pointed out, it's got to have an infrastructural dimension. It's got to have an informational dimension and an economic dimension, among other elements. But let me emphasize 4 elements of the military dimension I think we ought to keep in mind. The first, of course, is most obvious. If we're going to have peace in the Black Sea, we have to convince Putin that his ambitions over Ukraine and other parts of the region are unattainable. That means enabling as fast and as quickly as we can Ukraine to have the capacity to decisively defeat Russia's invasion. And we know what that means. That means increased security assistance. It means a real escalation, a severe escalation of economic sanctions on the Russian economy. We have to body slam that economic war machine. And it means leveraging our ideological and communication powers to really start enhancing support to the opposition in Russia, the opposition to Putin's regime and his war. Second, and as part of that strategy, we need to anchor the Black Sea region into the security architecture of the transatlantic community. And we've made progress, of course. Romania and Bulgaria are members of the alliance. But Ukraine has got to be given a clear path. And when Georgia is ready, the same. If I could be a little bit provocative and encourage Moldova to pursue that ambition, and we should accept that ambition with eagerness and speed. Look, the clear and unambiguous extension of NATO's Article 5 commitment is the most effective way to convince Putin that the democracies of the Black Sea cannot be suborned to his revanchist ambitions. Third, this is again kind of a theme that's permeated our discussions, we need to ensure that NATO fulfills with speed, NATO nations need to fulfill the requirements necessary to execute the alliance's regional defense plans. This is really urgent. And when it comes to the Black Sea region, we have to ensure more, not only just more capable national forces, but more capable maritime forces in the Black Sea. We need the littoral states to really have the capacities for robust situational awareness, but also robust sea control to guard against Russian forces. I've long believed a standing naval task force is long overdue, perhaps one based out of Constanta, building on the mine countermeasures initiative that has been launched. Critical infrastructure protection has to be given more priority. And I think the region can look to the Baltic Sea for some of the initiatives that nations and the alliance are undertaking over there. You know, NATO should be involved in critical infrastructure protection in the Black Sea now, not after a peace is attained. Protecting that infrastructure is urgent most when this war is underway, and getting it underway while the war is underway is the most effective way to demonstrate determination in the face of Putin's aggression. And fourth, we have to respond more vigorously to Russia's hybrid warfare. We have not been responding to these hybrid attacks. And until we do so, these attacks will continue, and they will continue to chip away at the alliance's unity. I mean, just look at information operations. It's just amazing to me that the alliance remains in a defensive crouch against Russia's information attacks, be it into our information space or our elections. We should be on the offensive. We should be weaponizing the power of truth against Putin. You know, the close, the Black Sea and the region around it is far too important to transatlantic security to be a second-tier priority. For too long, Putin has exploited that prioritization, and the region and transatlantic security have paid a high price. You know, the good news is that Ukraine has demonstrated that Putin's aggression is defeatable. Ukraine's defeat of the Russian Navy has transformed the Black Sea from a Russian lake to a contested space. The transatlantic community must now demonstrate the necessary political will and resoluteness to end Putin's aggression on our terms and to secure the Black Sea region, making the sea, in essence, a NATO lake. We have the capacity, we just need to demonstrate the will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian, for the strong message of transatlantic interest over the Black Sea security and very concrete ideas that you put forward to have security and stability in the Black Sea, hopefully also at the point when we'll have some ceasefire and not an ongoing hot war. Right now, I've prepared 2 or 3 questions of my own, which I will address to each of the distinguished members of the panel. And if any other of the member of the panel wants to add, of course, they are free to do it. And then I will open the floor for questions from the audience. I would first like to address you, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, by highlighting the fact that you mentioned that in Moldova's aspirations you have appreciated and you count both on the regional cooperation and support, and also on the European and transatlantic cooperation and support. And I want to highlight at least from the EU side, that in March this year, the Council approved the Reform and Growth Facility for the Republic of Moldova, almost 2 billion euros facility, which in itself shows the interest and support. And there was also, just a few weeks ago, the visit of the High Representative, Kaja Kallas. So my question is, how important, how valuable do you see these signs of support, and what else do you think is needed to support Moldova's European Union aspirations, both from close friends from the region, like Romania or Bulgaria, but also from the broader European or transatlantic community?
Indeed, thank you. The Republic of Moldova has benefited from the European Union's most recent decision to have the Growth and Resilience Package approved. But we have also been working, and this has been truly a game changer when it comes to our defense capabilities, is the European Peace Facility. The EPF program has really been transformational in allowing the Republic of Moldova to truly take charge of its sovereignty, to be able to have the means to defend its airspace and its citizens. We're now in the process of implementing those decisions to make sure that we are not totally vulnerable and as exposed as we were a couple years ago. But what is really bothering me when I hear some of the voices in the pro-Russian opposition back home who are questioning and undermining these efforts to consolidate Moldova's national security, while they are pretending to promote this sovereignist narrative, when it's either I get it wrong, or you cannot be a sovereignist and promote actions that are detrimental to national security and not supporting decisions that provide your citizens the safety of not having to be concerned of the airspace not being controlled. And this promotion of the idea of neutrality, with which the Kremlin has been pushing quite a bit onto the Republic of Moldova, and some of the Russian politicians as well, when it is the Kremlin, the only country in the world, the Russian Federation, that is violating Moldova's neutrality for over 30 years now by refusing to take its troops and munitions out of the Republic of Moldova, in light with its international commitments made at the OSCE summit of 1999. So it's highly ironic when I hear some of the folks back home singing this Russian tune of not investing in defense and promoting this sort of international recognition of neutrality, which is quite strange because you don't need to be a very astute student of history to know that neutrality didn't stop aggressors. Aggressors are not known to stopping at the border of countries that says neutral. But speaking of the discussion about NATO membership, there isn't enough support in the Republic of Moldova for many reasons that we can discuss. But there is also an important element to be mentioned, that countries that really wanted to join NATO and had all the support that you needed, mainly Ukraine and Georgia, were refused NATO membership in 2008, which was a strategic wrong decision. It was very short-sighted by our partners, because perhaps had that decision been a positive one, we would have been in a totally different security environment nowadays. So it's not enough to want to join. it's also very important whether the doors are open. And that's a situation that needs to be taken into account as well. But in the meantime, the Republic of Moldova is investing in its defense, and thanks to the support of the European Union, but also our American friends and other international partners, we are a lot better off now, a lot more resilient now. And a testament to that is also the security partnership that we signed with the European Union last year, the first of its kind, with the first country to sign such an agreement with the European Union. We just prolonged, the European Union just prolonged the UPM mission, European Partnership Mission in the Republic of Moldova, also an incredible element in building our security resilience in the civilian sector. We've had great cooperation in hybrid threats and combating them with our Euro-Atlantic partners. So we are doing above and beyond to make sure that we are investing in our security, but also to be a reliable partner for our friends, and also being in a position to be a security provider, not just a security consumer. That's why we're contributing to the KFOR mission in Kosovo, to other UN and EU missions, and we very much look forward to being able to do more in order to repay the enormous generosity that our partners show to us in helping us in these challenging times. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's indeed important that this narrative of cooperation and then support also reaches every citizen, especially in this context of hybrid war that also Ian BRZEZINSKI mentioned, where there is a competition among narratives, especially in electoral contexts. So it is important that really people are aware about what the solidarity means. I also wanted to address a question to State Secretary Ana Tinca. And both you and Foreign Minister Bulgaria mentioned the EU Black Sea strategy, which is in, I would say, final stage. And I wanted to ask to highlight the value added and complementarity value that it brings after we have a US Black Sea strategy already for some time. And linked to this, if I'm allowed, and knowing that what happens in the Black Sea doesn't just stay in the Black Sea, but there are some aspects that might have reverberations on other seas across the world. This blockage of commercial lifelines, so playing dangerous security and, I would say, economic game with security and socio-economic consequences. How do you think, what would be the lessons learned from what happened in the Black Sea for other areas?
Thank you very much for these questions. Speaking about the European Union, again, the European Union has been present in the region for many years now, but what we feel is that we need to take into account the new realities and to make sure that the European Union adapts its role, its instruments, in order to be more active and more present here. As I mentioned, we see two main pillars, security in the wider sense, involving hybrid, cyber, but also combating disinformation and malign influences. And then the connectivity part, which is also extremely important, because us as riparians, the last thing we would like to see is that because of the war, the Black Sea is pushed at the periphery of the global connectivity map. There is great potential here, and we want to make sure that with the support of the European Union, making best use of the instruments that we have in that format, we can help fulfill that great potential. And indeed, in our mind, it's about complementarity. We are very very glad to see that also individual allies and European friends have developed their own national strategies. You've mentioned the US strategy. France is also developing its own. In Berlin, there is thinking about a strategic approach towards the Black Sea. What we want to see is all these actors working together in synergy. I think that's the only way of being able together to address the challenges. About the global implications, I think that some of them were already mentioned in terms of the impact on global food security, but I want to add another angle. Not only Ukraine is under attack. International law, the international rules-based order is under attack. And one additional element, Russia is supported by other players, to name just one, DPRK, soldiers are on the ground. And this, of course, has global implications. And the way in which this war will end will either deter some actors in different parts of the region or embolden them to go forward. And in terms of international law and rules, I'm very worried to see that this war has, for example, very dangerous implications for the non-proliferation regimes and things that used to be taboo, such as the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, are not so anymore, because maybe in exchange for the support it gets, Moscow has decided, for example, to oppose the extension of the mandate of the panel of experts in the UN who are monitoring the denuclearization. So I think that there are extremely far-reaching consequences, and we actually see our like-minded partners in the Indo-Pacific, Japan, South Korea, helping Ukraine, realizing what's really at stake.
Thank you very much. And these global reverberations are also very much worth to be kept in mind. And by the way, for the arguments that you highlight, what happens in this region is also great interest in South China Sea, Japan, Australia, and so on. Ian, I wanted to ask you to dwell a little bit more on the points that you made and were focused to build the stability environment in the Black Sea, hopefully in an era where we'll have a ceasefire. And considering that there are special responsibilities of the riparian states of the Black Sea Turkey under the Montreux Conventions, but on the other hand, that there is an interest in the security, stability, I would say commercial energy and activity in the Black Sea of many others from the Middle East, definitely from Europe and the Transatlantic community. How do you see this kind of division of labor and responsibilities? You made some hints, but I wanted to ask you to dwell a bit deeper on it. Thank you.
What I tried to emphasize is that if you're going to secure the Black Sea, it shouldn't be a post-Ukraine-Russia war effort. It should be part of the effort to end that war and end that war in our times. And one of the mistakes I think the alliance has made is allow essentially NATO to be chased out of the Black Sea. NATO should be returning to the Black Sea. There are a lot of things that the alliance can do short of offensively attacking Russian forces. They can patrol in international waters. The Black Sea is still international waters. There's no reason why NATO shouldn't be there. And when it's not there, it looks like it's been chased out. It looks like it is afraid of Russian aggression. And when you express or you demonstrate fear of Russian aggression, you're not deterring it. You're actually encouraging it. So I think it's important for the alliance to return in some sort of way into the Black Sea. I'd like to see the mine countermeasures task force have a NATO flag. That'd be a first easy step. You can't accuse it of being confrontational. I'd like to see that built upon by the alliance with kind of more, a return to regular but also more robust maritime patrols. That's what ought to be done in the Black Sea to, one, convince Russia that NATO hasn't been intimidated, to change Putin's perception of the correlation of forces, and to actually start doing what's necessary to make sure that this sea is safe for international commerce.
Thank you very much. And I'm told by the organizers that there will not be extra time for questions from the floor because we started a bit late, although we were still within the timing of the panel. Therefore, I would kindly like to thank the distinguished panelists. I think this was a really, really very substantive and profound discussion, and would kindly ask you all to give them a fine round of applause. Thank you very much.